Hello, welcome to Breath Life. My name's Angel. Thank you guys so much for listening. It means so much to have your guys' support. This week's episode is a little bit different. So, we have my friend Rebecca Poppy Cullum, and she came on to talk to us about what it's like to support a rider who is pushing at the top in the world. Um, she dates Radford Chuggs, and as a lot of people know, he has been rocketing up through the ranks this last year. He's been doing absolutely amazing. And she has just given him so much support. So ever since I met Radford, he's been kind of just this character. And it was really cool when I got to meet Rebecca. She is so much like him. She's an extreme sports fanatic essentially. She's done professional snowboarding, she mountain bikes, she dirt bikes, and she dates Radford Chuggs, so that's pretty much an extreme sport in and of itself, right? um it's been really really cool to kind of pick her mind a little bit about what it is like to have that or to give support at that level. Kind of how she got into sports, and then how she got into riding, as well as we took a little bit of time to talk about concussions. For those that don't know, at the beginning or at the end of last year, rather, Radford Chug had a pretty bad concussion. And so we kind of touch a little bit on that. That's been a hot topic throughout the last year because there's been a lot of really bad concussions, and there's a lot of talk about bringing more awareness to it. So I think that's something that's really important, and that's something that we touched on in this episode. So I hope you guys like it. There's going to be a few more episodes with basically the support team behind some riders. And so I hope it resonates with you guys, and I will talk to you guys next week. So, well, again, thank you for coming on here. I know this is kind of a
Oh,
little
no
bit
worries.
different, and
Yeah,
it might feel a little bit weird, but I feel like we have a lot to unpack with you. So I'm really excited for this. This
yeah,
is
there's
cool.
a whole lot of unpacking.
So first, let's start at the beginning. How did you get started in riding? Because you do ride.
Yeah, I mean, my background is extreme sports, so I started competing in snowboarding when I was 12, and I've always been that tomboy. I
Yeah.
was saying the other day to somebody, like when I was like 16, you couldn't tell if I was a boy or girl. Like I was such a tomboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 16-year-olds today look like 25-year-old women. But
Mhm.
I have an older brother, so whatever he did, I wanted to do. So I was at the skate park with him and his friends. Like I started as a skier, as much as I hate to admit that, a little race skier, and then I he was a snowboarder, and I was like, well, I want to do that. So I started snowboarding, and it kind of got a bit uncool to hang out with your sister, so I like got cast aside. And yeah,
Oh.
I got my own riding friends, and I tagged along with him whenever I could. And yeah, we started traveling the world and competing, which yeah is amazing. So I competed till from when I was 12 years old until I was about 18, 19.
Okay.
And yeah, and then anything that kind of tested me or was a bit extreme, I wanted to have a go at. Um, and yeah, I've got the injuries to prove it that I gave everything a go. But yeah, it's just when it's ingrained in me that I just want to partake in extreme sports, so I'll give anything a go. As I've got
Yeah.
older, though, I bet you feel the same. When you get older, you really think about things a lot more. Um, but yeah, as a kid,
I
I was pretty wild. My parents can vouch for that.
So, did you get on it was a mountain bike first then?
Yeah,
And
so
then
I obviously learnt to ride a bike as soon as I could when I was young, and then yeah, mountain biking. I've mountain biked for years, and then yeah, I'd ridden a bit of motocross
Mhm.
before Ralph and I got together. But yeah, since being with him, it's like I've got the bug back, and yeah, it's bike pending. I've got my own road bike, but I need, as in motorbike, road bike, but I need my
Mhm.
own motocross or enduro bike, that's for sure.
Yeah. What are your goals if you get one? Like, what do you wanna do? Like, do you wanna be racing next to Radford, or do you just wanna just be able to go and, like, traverse the countryside?
I think racing next to Radford is a dangerous place to be, considering he's so wild. But yeah, I have told him that I'll be more famous than him on a bike. But let's be honest, probably won't be the case. I'll let him have the limelight. But yeah, I mean, it would be amazing to do a race, but like I have so many of like my own commitments and work and stuff. So yeah, it's something which I would aspire to do.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if I told him that I was entering one of the rounds, one of the hard enduro rounds?
I
I think I wouldn't tell him. I'd just turn
Oh,
up.
really? Just do it?
Yeah. Just be like, well, I'm coming too, and I'm not just watching this time.
He'll be like, "Why are both bikes loaded right now? What's
Yeah.
happening?" They're like, "I didn't tell you, but"
Yeah,
um
I kept a big secret from you. I've been practicing for years.
So, out of all of the rounds of well, I guess I should ask first, would you want to do hard enduro or would you just wanna do enduro?
I think, well, enduro probably hard enduros. I didn't realize quite how hard it was until I went to Turkey and
Yeah.
I was waiting. I saw Radford at one point. It was like in the riverbed, and then it was like, well, I had to go to the top to see if he made it to the top, and I was watching all the riders come through, and some of the top guys were coming through, and they were like struggling their asses off. And I was like, "Oh God, like, is Rafa going to make it?" And funny story, well, not so funny, but funny. The one of the event organizers came up and was like, I'd been there for 6 hours or so waiting for it, 5, 6 hours, and the event organizer came up and was like, "Oh, we're stopping people coming up now." And I was like, "Oh God, like he's going to be so gutted." Um,
Mm.
that he didn't make it, and he just wanted to make it to the top, to the arch. And so I started walking back up, disheartened for him, bless him, and then went to get in the gondola. And as I was getting in, I had a phone call from him. He's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm literally getting in the gondola." He's like, "I'm here. I've made it to the top." And I was like, "What?" It was so amazing. He was so ecstatic. There was like 16 riders that made it, I think, in the end, and he
Yeah,
was 15th. Um,
yeah,
but the last section of Turkey was mad, so mad.
yeah.
Like I couldn't walk up it. I take a bike up it. So we'll stick to
I that
enduro.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite races to watch. I really, really I'm hoping that this year I can go and just watch it,
Yeah.
because it's so epic, and Sea to Sky has been one of my favorite for a couple years now, but it looks incredible.
Do you
Is it
do you
as
see yourself
picturesque
doing
in
it?
person? Uh Sea to Sky, I don't know. I would say maybe. Maybe.
Maybe it's
I
good.
would do it, like, in, like, 3 years. Like,
Yeah,
that one's a
Romaniacs
pretty
next
tough
year.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
I haven't really announced that yet, but that's okay. We can talk about that. Um,
we'll announce it
there
together.
was
26,
yeah.
2026.
2026, we're starting our own team, and we're gonna go race Romaniacs, the Iron class. So,
It's great.
um
I'll let Radford know I need to get into training.
yeah. Well, and that's nice that you have him right there. So, you
Yeah.
could just be like, "Hey, this weekend we're gonna go and train." And I mean,
I
that's
mean,
really cool.
he's taken me out a couple of times, and it's his mentality is, "Yeah, you can do that. You can do that." And I'm like, I'm not sure if I can though, Radford." Like, I have to think this one through a bit. And yeah, I think I might have to get some coaching from somebody else first, and then
I think
well, that
that's really funny that you said that. I find that a lot of couples can't learn from each other.
no.
So, like, you usually have to find somebody on the outside.
Yeah, we're going snowboarding soon, and I was like, "I'll teach you." And he was like, "You're just gonna laugh at me." It's like, well, it's kind of payback for when you take me out on a bike, and it's like you can do it. It's like, and I'm just pooing my pants, and I can't do it. But yeah, so that would be. role reversal, put it that
Yeah.
way.
I I think that's good though that you have things that you're both are your strengths, that are
Yeah, for
separate.
sure.
I
Yeah.
think that that's really important, and I think that's really cool though that you guys just do everything like extreme. Like you guys
Yeah,
are
there's
biking
no
and
chill. We
yeah.
we both definitely have undiagnosed ADHD. And our lives are a million miles an hour. Like we can like my parents ask me what I'm doing, what I'm planning, and it's like we don't really have a plan. It just
Yeah.
happens and we're quite spontaneous and yeah, it's the way it's how we function and yeah, it it's amazing that we both have that because if one of us was a
Yeah.
bit like we need to plan everything for the whole year, it'd be a bit of a nightmare. But
Yeah, definitely. I think the most planning that I get nowadays is like when the race schedule comes out and I'm like, all right, I know I'm going to be in these places at this time. Everything else, no clue.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just going to
exactly.
be spontaneous like you said. Like I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. If I can get the parts for my bike and fix it, maybe I'll go ride. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's the hardest thing for me, like when it comes to having a relationship. When I've tried, people don't like that.
yeah,
And it's hard to find somebody who's okay with you just like, hey, let's go and do this, and then it being all right, and then like let's go. So
yeah. Yeah, spontaneity is key to keeping things fun. Like I think routine is scary.
yeah,
Radford and I've had this conversation a lot. Like I routine would, oh, I just don't like the idea of it. Yeah, it's
yeah.
not for us. Put it that way.
Yeah, but you get kind of complacent, and it's just easy to fall into losing all of those things that to me keep me going. I love running, I love riding, I love being able
Yeah,
to just go. And that's honestly what makes me nervous about taking a permanent position. Um,
yeah,
I feel like because I won't be moving every couple months, like it's nerve-wracking, and I'm just like, ugh, but I'm gonna be so close to so many different things, like 5 hours away from, like, Utah, and there's really good riding there, and, like, 3 hours from really great riding in California, and,
yeah.
a couple hours from great riding in Arizona, and so there's a lot
Wow,
of
you've got
things
it
that I'm gonna
all.
be able to do. Yeah, plus hiking everywhere in the area that I'll be going to, so, um
Nice.
and I'll be really close to a major airport in Las Vegas that'll be like an hour away. And so I can just hop a flight when I decide I'm going to come overseas. And so
Nice.
I'm really, really excited. It's very nerve wracking, but I'm trying to be more excited.
No, you've got to like take the leap of faith, really, like to keep it
Mhm.
exciting and yeah, it's like a whole different life, isn't it? Like when
Mhm.
your bike's involved, like yeah, it opens up so many
Yeah.
doors, so many countries, so
Yeah.
many places you can ride that you didn't even know you could ride.
Yeah.
But
I,
yeah,
I never thought about riding somewhere like Brazil, for example.
yeah,
And I had a friend out in Brazil last year sent me pictures, and I was like, that is epic. Like, oh my God, I want to
yeah,
go. Like, I've always wanted to go to Brazil to like go to the rainforest. Like, that's something I've always wanted to do. But now I'm like, bikes, where can I ride? Okay, cool.
yeah.
Like all these places. And I have like, I always ask this question on the podcast, like if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go ride? So let me ask you
Oh,
first.
God, I mean, I haven't ridden a, I don't feel like I don't even know if I could answer that because I don't feel like well,
Not skill based, just
yeah, I was gonna
based
say
on like if you
I've not
wanted
got
to
the
be in that terrain, see it from a
God.
bike,
I
because seeing
mean,
it from a bike is totally different.
I spent quite a bit of time in Romania and
Yeah.
Radford raves about Romania, but I was there for charity work. So I never
Mhm.
really the terrain there is unbelievable. It's stunning. I don't know if you've ever been to Romania, but it
Mm-mm.
is beautiful and it's quite a bizarre country where they're like 20 odd years behind us. And it's also
Oh.
it's the simple life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like I feel like in the UK we've just overcomplicated life, but you go over there and they're still in horse and carts.
Yeah.
Um, but as Radford has raved about it so much, I would say Romania, which
Yeah.
which is probably also a possibility soon to be able to, because they do so many like riding tours over there. So yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I think I might have to get a little bit better before I head over there. A few Radford training lessons, but yeah, Romania would be one. Where did he? I can't remember where he went, and he saw bears. I can't, like, because of my background is animals as well. Like, I would love to
Yeah.
go somewhere where you could see wildlife as well, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly where that'd be. But yeah, I've saw videos of him, although he shouldn't have been feeding bears jammy dodgers, I think it was. Yeah.
Oh
So,
my
but like their
goodness.
cubs and everything. Yeah. So yeah, I'm the biggest
He is
animal lover.
wild.
So yeah. I mean, he was in a car doing it, so he had the safety of a window, but
Oh, okay. All right. I was
yeah.
gonna say I went running in Maine when I first moved there, and I ran into a bear in like downtown essentially. I was running like there was a
Wow.
trail downtown and there was a bear and I was terrified. But like it was
It all
just
depends
a
on like
black
what bear,
bear.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean if it was a grizzly, I probably wouldn't be here right now,
Yeah. God,
um
yeah.
but I love animals as well, and, like, I was a vet tech, so, like, it's kinda funny.
Were you? I didn't
Um
know that.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, have you said
So,
that to me before? I didn't know.
I don't think so, no.
Ah, oh snap.
But yeah. So I
Wow.
absolutely love animals when it's safe, because when
Yeah.
this bear came
Yeah.
barreling out of the woods in front of me, I was actually bent over tying my shoe, and, so I was just like, I don't really know what to do."
Wow.
But if I was, like, in a
Gosh.
car, I probably would have done what he did and probably would have
Yeah.
tried to feed it.
Fed it jammy dodgers, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That
anywhere I
would be
can see
good.
wildlife. I don't know if there's like, because obviously I've been snowboarding in a lot of places where in the summer, like you can ride mountain bikes there. So like I've been
Yeah.
to like Whistler. Whistler's an insane place to ride mountain bikes. I don't know if they have like terrain for enduro, but it's even hard enough. But yeah, I don't have you ever been to Whistler in Canada?
Mm-mm. No, I've
Oh, it's
actually never been outside
beautiful.
of the US. I just got my passport, so
Wow, you
the
hear
world is
that so
open
much
now.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because you have everything there. You don't
Yeah,
need
well,
to
and I
leave.
also yeah, there's tons in the States to see and do, and it's
Yeah.
it's so different everywhere you go. But yeah, I was married and he didn't want to travel, and so we just never did that. And
Yeah. Wow.
since then I've been dirt biking and just trying to build my skills with the goal of eventually I'm gonna be good enough to, like you said, go on a tour somewhere, whether it's
Yeah.
Brazil or Romania or Iceland is one of the places that I really want to
Oh,
go.
really? Yeah.
Mhm.
I've been there. I've been to Iceland, so sightseeing,
Yeah.
but the terrain is mad.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
nothing else I've ever seen. Yeah.
It's
It's
incredible. I have a friend who went last year and was sending me pictures and videos, and I was just like, I could not believe that it was real. Like
yeah. It's stunning,
it's
so
like the
stunning.
land of the gods and
Yeah.
like the Norse gods and everything, and it's like they called it that for a reason because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mad place as well. Like we didn't have we hardly had any daylight when we were there.
Oh,
Yeah, it
really?
was like 4 hours of daylight, I think it was. Yeah. So you
Oh
have to
my
pick your
god.
times on when to go. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have some friends who are going this summer. I'm hoping to join another excursion that's going, I think, closer to the end of the year, or the
Yeah.
end of summer. So, but we'll see.
Nice.
It all has to line up because I'm also trying to go to Sea to Sky this year, and so we'll see how it all lines up.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
um, yeah,
Wow.
it'd be really cool. So,
Got lots of cool
uh,
plans ahead of you.
yeah, yeah. So that's part of the reason for being a little bit more permanent. it's easier to travel out of one place rather than not know where I'm going to be in 2 months and,
Yeah, yeah.
have to try and figure out a new house and a new state and what am I going to do with my car? What am I going to do with my bike? And then the travel plans on top of it. And like we just
Yeah.
said, like, I'm not big on planning. I like to be spontaneous. So
Yeah.
this will let me be a little bit more spontaneous. So hopefully.
Nice. God, that'd be so
Yeah.
cool if you could make it to Sea to Sky. I
Yeah.
don't know if
I
they've
so
set the
the
dates yet, have they?
Yep, they did.
They have
Yep.
they? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
It's in
I don't know if you.
October. I don't remember.
Oh, nice. So to the end of at the end of the year. Oh, it feels like it was
Yeah.
only yesterday that happened. But yeah.
Yeah. My hope, if all goes according to plan, is to be at Erzberg and to be at Sea to Sky. So
Oh wow, you're going to Erzberg as well.
I'm hoping
Amazing.
to. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well I'll see you there. I'm
Yeah. I'm
going.
so excited.
Yeah, I'll be going to that one for sure.
Yeah. That'll be awesome. Oh, it'll be so fun.
It,
I like to hike and take pictures in like the most remote places. So
I'm sure you love it. I've only heard crazy things about Erzberg.
yeah.
So yeah, we I can't remember when it is, but I like made Radford a planner, like with he's put all his dots in for all the dates so that we actually know and can like he can book in for them.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that one's in the end of May, I want to say.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm so like with my like work and stuff, I'm so busy with it. So
yeah.
it's all the dates roll into one. But yeah, I'll definitely see you there.
Yeah, that'd be so awesome. I'm so excited. It'll be cool. I
No,
have a friend who is talking about coming from the States with me, so like then we'll be able to like split like a place to stay and it'll be just like a little bit cheaper. So I'm super stoked for it. I really feel like it's coming together. So I think that it's gonna
nice.
happen. And I like I
Oh,
said,
I'm sure it
I've
will.
been watching Erzberg was the first hard enduro I ever watched, and that was about 10 years ago. And it was epic. It
Wow.
was absolutely epic, right? And so I just like that's what started it all for me. I didn't even have a dirt bike back then. Um and so I just like it'll be like kind of coming full circle, to just
Yeah,
be there.
yeah.
So it'd be really cool. And then the next step would be, get good enough to ride it one day. But
Wow. No, you have to have these like goals, like, and why
Mhm.
not? Why wouldn't
Yeah.
you be able to? For
Yeah. Well,
sure.
and if I'm gonna do Romaniacs, I feel like then the next year I could probably do Ernberg if I survive.
I'm sure you will.
It'll
Definitely.
be great. Yeah. No, I'm super excited, but I do have huge goals. I have super, super lofty goals that people are like, you're absolutely insane. And I'm like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Oh well. Like,
I was super sick a couple years ago and I was basically on bed rest and like I couldn't be physical at all for like it was probably like a year where I could just barely walk at
wow.
times and like I was in so much pain and I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. So after getting healed from that and being better, like I just want to do everything
Yeah,
that
for
I
sure.
can while I have my health, while I have the
Yeah.
ability to do these things because unfortunately I've had a lot of loss in these last couple years as well and I know that life is short. Like why not make your dreams happen now?
Yeah,
I
yeah, for
understand
sure.
saving and having a plan for when you're older, but like you can't not live now as well. Like you've got to
Yeah.
do everything and not have regrets.
Yeah, for sure. Like we're all about living in the moment and like with me being like older than Radford and like you the like life like the strains of life where people put on you of like when are you going to get married, when are you going to have kids, and we're just like, well, we're just having fun, like
Yeah.
right now, like that's our main goal is to enjoy each
Mhm.
other and have fun, like,
Yeah.
and that's how it should be. Like
Yeah.
society tries to like push you in a direction and
Mhm.
no, we're not having it, so
So, how
good.
did you and Radford get together?
So I said to him I was going to tell the truth. Um, or I was going to come
I'm
up with some
excited to hear this.
extravagant story. He came riding in on a horse. No, so he had followed me for a while on Instagram, I believe. He
Uh-huh.
hasn't ever admitted how long for. But because of he liked a photo of mine, and it came
Uh-huh.
up at the top of my Instagram, because when someone's got a following, it comes up at the
Mhm.
top. And I saw
Yeah.
like the picture was like just a back like a he was backflipping trials bike, I think it was. And I clicked on his profile and I was like, that can't be a real name. Like Radford Chug. Like it's just I've never heard of someone called Radford. So
Yeah.
um
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny
so
because I've heard that name multiple times. I've just never heard it with his
oh
last name. I've
really?
never heard his last name before. But
People don't think
I've met two Radfords other than
really.
him.
Or
Yep.
in the US or are they in the UK?
And well, they were from the UK, but I met them in the
Ah,
US.
yeah,
So
it's
that's
weird.
funny.
I literally had never heard of that name. So I just messaged him and said, so this is me admitting that I slid into his DMs, like he tells me, um, that I messaged him and I was like, is this your real name? Like, tell me that's
Yeah.
I said something like, tell me that's your real name. And he is just like, yeah. It's like, well, and then he tried to play it on me, like Rebecca Poppy Cullum. He's like, is that your real name? I'm like, come on, like, it's quite a standard name. Like, Rebecca is, yeah, pretty like
Yeah.
standard. And um, yeah, and then he was actually in Romania doing Romaniacs. And so he's away for like a month. And we had spoken for like that time, that whole month. Like obviously he was riding and then traveling, and yeah,
Mhm.
like we just got on so well, and like the common interest is just amazing. Like when you can talk for hours about like what you've done, your sport, and we've both got the same mentality, the same like outlook on life. So we literally spoke for hours. And obviously, yeah, he was getting up at like 4 or 5 a.m. to go ride. So yeah, he even called me one time when he was riding and he sounded so over it. Bless him. I think that was the time when he literally sat on the edge of the mountain and cried. He's admitted that now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and then we spoke, and then like we'd been speaking for like a month, and I was
Mhm.
like, what was if I like, because obviously when you meet someone, you have to have that attraction. And I was like,
Mhm.
what was if like we don't have that attraction? Um, Even though we had FaceTime, like connection is everything. And yeah,
Yeah.
he drove back from Romania and he drove to my house, and the rest is history really. Yeah, I was yeah, pretty head over heels for the guy straight away. So and
Aw,
I like to
that's
think
so
the feelings
cute.
I like to think the feeling is mutual.
Mhm.
But yeah, we gel so well, and yeah, I've never ever had anything like it. So yeah, he's a good guy, and I'm so glad I found him. Like I was single for 4 years, and I was like so done with like any form
Mhm.
like thinking about relationships. I was just so happy on my own, and I was so
Yeah.
prepared to be on my own. So and then yeah, he liked a photo, and that was it.
It's funny how that happens. No, like I think that's the cutest thing. Like girl moment here. But like I've been single for I don't know, a couple years now after my divorce and I am in that kind of mode where like I don't know that I really want a relationship. I don't
Yeah,
know that like I give a lot and I don't know that I want to give up my goals for somebody else. If I
yeah,
have somebody who's supportive and who can maintain a separate life with me while still doing it together, if that makes sense,
yeah,
um, then I think that that's somebody that I could definitely move forward with. And but a lot of people that I've talked to and like that have tried to like date, it's just not I'm too extreme, which is hilarious to me because I've never been that person. But they're like, dude, you're waking up at 5 a.m. on Saturday and you're going running or you're getting ready to
yeah,
ride. And I'm like, yeah, like I sorry, like I guess
yeah,
I don't know. Like if you can't handle it, you can't handle it. That's fine. But
yeah,
to have somebody that you really connect with like that and like you guys seem to understand each other so well and I mean I met him before I met you And
Yeah.
like he was so fun and just like out there, and I was just like, who is
He's
that guy,
definitely
like
out
walking
there.
around in cowboy boots? And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I knew he wasn't one of the US guys, but I was like, I've never heard his name, and I've been following hard enduro for a while, and I was like, I don't know this guy, like who
Yeah.
is he? So like I was like asking around, and he's just over there like doing wheelies and just in his cowboy
Standard
boots.
Radford. Yeah.
Yeah, just being like the center of attention, but like
Oh,
not in an
he loves it.
obnoxious way.
No, it's quite an endearing way. Like I don't know how he gets away
Yeah,
with it. He's like, "Hey
he's like a
everyone,
little
watch me
kid.
wheelie in a circle."
Yeah. It's like watching a little kid. He's just like, I think it's because he's just so like happy all the time. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, it's super positive, and it was really cool. So I got to talk to him and the Brightmores, and that was really fun. Meeting Chris and Sally was just really cool.
Oh, they're just absolute
Um,
gems. Like
they
the whole
are.
family are just
Uh-huh.
so down to earth, and it's like I see a lot of like my family and like what they're doing. Like my mum and dad like traveled with me snowboarding and would be there to support everything. Like they would be there on the
Yeah.
sidelines watching, and they are exactly the same. And they are just so lovely. And Radford went out with them to Tennessee, and we just
Yeah.
had the best time. Like
Yeah.
they're like us. They're youngsters, and
Yeah.
yeah, they. I see them at the races now, and I was with them obviously in Turkey as well. And they were like the
Mhm.
knowledge fountain for me because I didn't know much about like the rules and what goes on. And so
Mhm.
yeah, we drove around together and we're trying to locate the boys, but yeah, that's hard in itself trying to find where they were on the mountain. Um,
Yeah, that gets
but
hard.
yeah, yeah, it's so nice. Like I've obviously been in different extreme sports, but the hard enduro world, like the enduro world, like everyone's so nice. Like there's
Yeah.
no ego there. And I think
Yeah.
that's why Bradford gets away with it because it's not egotistical at all. He's just like,
Yeah.
I'm having fun, look. So,
Yeah. And I think that's what, all of them that well, everyone that I was around at least was just like, that dude's having so much fun. Like, look at that. Like, this is cool. It was just like he got everybody's attention. It was super funny. But then when I found out about you and like I started talking to you, and I was just like, you guys are so like good together. Like I told you, like you guys mesh just so well together. You have your separate lives, but then you guys
ah,
I've never seen like and I haven't been in the sport a whole lot. I've watched it from the outside, but I've not
yeah.
been around it a whole lot. But seeing how supportive you are, and I
Oh,
think that's the coolest thing. Like that's if I ever do have somebody, I hope I can be as supportive as you are while
ah,
still maintaining like my own identity, because I think it's really cool that you do your
yeah.
own thing. You do your stuff, he does his stuff, but you still are supporting him, and that is so important in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel really strongly about keeping your own identity. So I will always support his dream and what he wants to do. Like
Mhm,
I'll always be there. But it works the other way as well. Like with my business, like I'm 2 years
mhm,
into a business and like he's so supportive. And the industry that I'm in, I don't
mhm.
know if you know much about it, but like I own a, how do I word this, adult store online.
Yeah,
And it can
okay.
be quite intimidating for people and hard
Mhm,
to like navigate and talk about and like that's
mhm.
the industry I'm in. It's
Yeah,
24/7 for me. And he's come into it and he's just been so supportive. And like I've had like manufacturing issues whilst I've been with him and he's just like, right, well, let's try and fix this. And like it was only the other day, like he was in here helping me repackage a whole load of stuff and figure out a way around it. And it's you're
mhm.
a team, but you have your own stuff going on. And like when you can come together and discuss that and bounce things off each other, and it's yeah, it's the best way to be. I think like you can be too engrossed in somebody else. And
Yeah,
like, another thing that I feel so strongly about, like you see a lot of girlfriends going to races and their their other half's dream becomes their dream, and it's like they're just peddling that. And you kind of
yeah,
you see girls losing themselves.
mhm.
And it's just, you need to keep your identity. You need to be able to have your own thing. And
Yeah,
it works so much better that way. So Yeah, you got to be your own person in this world. You can't like
Yeah.
you came into this world on your own and you'll go out on your own. I know that sounds quite morbid, but the bit in between, like you still need to keep being yourself. But
Yeah. And I definitely think that, like, I mean, I've met couples who range, right? Like, there's people who do really, really well when they find something together and then they start doing it and they do it together all the time. Like, I have friends
yeah,
who,
yeah.
like, their husband got them into riding and now they ride with their husband all the time. But then they still maintain their own kind of identity in that they go out and
Yeah,
ride
for
with the
sure.
girls, or, they go ride with other people. I think it's so important as somebody who's been through a divorce and who had their whole life ingrained in somebody else. Essentially, that independence gave me so much confidence
Yeah.
once I started moving on my own and doing things on my own. And so now I do a lot with women's groups. Like, I try and get women to come out and ride. And a lot of the times it's, oh, well, I need my husband to come because I can't load my bike, or I don't know what to do for, this issue or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like be a resource, because even if you have somebody who, you get a bike, for example, I don't know how you are. I'm the kind of person who wants to learn to work on my bike.
Oh,
I want to do the
100%.
work,
Yeah.
but I need somebody to show me. Um, but there are women who don't want anything to do with their bike. I think it's
Yeah. I
important to
mean,
know what the maintenance is and to know about it. You don't necessarily have to do it all the time, but I think that
100%.
you should still know how to do it, because to me personally, that's maintaining your independence, maintaining your identity a little bit. Even if you are like, sometimes people have been together for like 20 years and that's great. Um, but I still think that you should be able to have that separateness as well.
Yeah, and like touching on the whole like with the bike and everything,
Mhm.
I went riding the other day. We have a really cool riding place called Mick Extents. It's like a place where you can go, you can hire the bikes. And I went on my
Yeah.
birthday, and Radford obviously had his bike. I was on a Stark. I love them. They're just the best.
Mhm.
And um, when we were out, I fell off, dropped my bike. And for a
Mhm.
guy, it's like a natural reaction to go and help. And I was
Mhm.
like, no, no, like I'm picking my bike up. Like if I can't pick my
Yeah.
bike up, I don't believe I should be riding it. Like I don't want to like
Yes.
I'm a feminist in a way that like I want to stand with men. Like I believe that I'm not a toxic feminist. Like I think there is a lot of toxicity around femininity.
Yeah.
Femininity, is that the word? Yeah. Um, and well, you know, when you say a word and you don't know whether it sounds right. And I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of there's toxic side to it where women think we can
Yeah.
do everything men can. Well, we can't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like they are built completely differently to us. And
Mhm.
some things like manual labor things we can't do. But
Yeah.
if it means like I'm not going to stand and be like, oh, I can't pick up my bike. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to pick up my bike. Like at
Mhm.
the end of the day, I shouldn't be riding if I can't pick it up. And we just don't need
Yeah.
to, as women, play into the stereotype of, oh God, I can't do it. Help me. Um,
Yeah.
and
See,
when there's
I'm
a
like
will, there's
a
definitely a way.
yeah, definitely. I'm like a weird like blend of like traditional like things
Yeah.
and then like also that hyper independence. So I've been on my own long
Yeah.
enough that like, I can do so many things by myself. Like, I've done sheetrocking and I've done, roofing, and I've done
Wow.
working on my own car, and I've had to learn all of these things in life
Yeah.
because I didn't have anybody else there to do it for me. And like, I'm not good at all of them. It's like that whole jack of all trades, master of none. I can kind of do
Yeah. Yeah.
everything a little bit. I'm good at I can learn things really easily. Um, but
That's amazing though. That's how it should be, I think. Like have a go.
yeah,
Like there's gonna be
yeah,
people there to help you if you need
yeah,
it. But like I mean like out on the bike, but like it's
yeah,
I feel like because I've been such a tomboy, like throughout my whole
yeah,
life, even now I'm a tomboy. Like I would much rather spend time with guys and I get on
yeah,
with guys better than I get on with girls. But
Yeah.
I just feel girls that don't have the same mindset as me of like the sporting side, it just gets a bit
Hmm.
too, yeah, complicated. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's I do believe you should have a go at it. And I think with me and Radford, because I was on my own for 4 years,
Yeah.
I got on with everything on my own. And like even now he's like, can you just ask for help, please? Like just ask me. I'm like, yeah, but I think I
Yeah.
can do it. He's like, just ask me and I'll do it for you.
Like,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, like you're
I
saying, traditional
definitely.
values though,
Hmm. But
like a guy should be holding doors open. There,
yes.
there's me switching back out of my like feminine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
No,
mean,
I
I do.
I totally think that there's things that guys should be doing for us as women. I think it's more of like household, I guess. For me personally, is what it is like more traditional. And then like outside
Yeah,
of the home, it's like I'm gonna rip on my bike. So like
yeah,
that's not
yeah.
really a traditional thing, you know what I mean?
It's like I'll dip in and out of the tradition when I want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, it's the way the world is now. It's you've kind of both got to muck in a relationship. It's
Hmm.
not like back in the day. It was like men paid for everything, and but now like women are stronger than ever. Women have high powered jobs now. They are earning more
Yeah,
than guys in some relationships. Like
yeah.
I'd love to know a statistic on how many women that do earn more than their partner, but like
Hmm.
it takes a lot. I find like it's like I that's why I didn't think I'd find someone because it takes a lot for a guy to handle a strong woman. Like a
Hmm.
woman that's got direction, she's got her own stuff going on. She doesn't need your money. Like
Yeah.
like she can do it, but she wants you in her life. Like it's not like she needs you, she
Yes.
wants you. So
Yes.
that for a guy to understand that it's hard for a guy because they have to take a step back and
Hmm.
be like, you know what, you do you.
Hmm.
And that's what I found in Radford. Like he lets me get on with what I do. And yeah, it's we both want to see success for each other. So yeah,
Yeah.
it works.
But you let him get on with what he's gonna do too.
Oh yeah, I'm like, he's been riding since the first. We went up,
Hmm.
we hiked a mountain on the
Hmm.
1st of January, and then he was staying in Wales to ride. And yeah, like I urge him to ride as much as possible because I know bike time is everything. And
Hmm.
riding with different people of different standards of different terrain is what he needs. And
Hmm.
I said to him earlier, I was like, because we need to I reminded him to sort his bike out for the indoors.
Yeah.
And I was like, you just need to give yourself the best shot, like get prepared. And yeah, like because the first indoor round was a bit of a nightmare because he was 2 weeks post concussion. And
Hmm.
that like talking about like the support side of stuff, like that was a mad time. He really hit his head and he was vomiting. I think we worked out he's vomiting for 4 hours straight.
Oh my
Um,
god.
yeah, it was nasty. And then he was going through the motions of concussion. It was horrible. Concussions aren't taken as seriously as they probably should be. And he wasn't all there for
Hmm.
that round. He shouldn't have done it, but he pushed himself to do it. And so yeah, we just said, look, let's prepare ourselves. We didn't go to Germany, which was this weekend gone. And
Hmm.
so we're going to Romania. And yeah, I'm just like, you need to get on the bike as much as you can. Um,
Yeah.
and I love it. Like I in a relationship, you need to be happy and bikes make him so happy. So
Yeah.
the more bike time he has, the better. And then when I get my bike, I can go with him as well. Sometimes, I mean, yeah, I'm obviously we pootle round when I'm there, but yeah,
I
it's the
bet
more bike
I feel
time.
like he's probably just doing like extracurricular stuff. Like you're going and he's just like up the hill and then
Oh
coming back
yeah,
down and
it's
then over
exactly
there and
that.
then coming back. Yeah.
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 Yeah, when we were riding in Wales, he was just like I could hear him behind me and then he was gone and then he was in front of me and then he was behind me and yeah, yeah, it
I
was
love that though that he's willing to go out there and do it with you because like I mean I know people on a lot of levels and even at the lowest level there are some guys who are like dude I don't want to ride with my girlfriend like she's so slow or she's so this or she's so that and it's
oh,
like I get it to a point, but at the same time, like if you guys are both riding and she wants to improve, like why wouldn't you support
Yeah,
that? You know,
I
like you
know.
said, that's a really rare thing. So I just feel
Yes,
like
it's like they don't
I don't
think it's
know.
cool, but like when you can do something together, like I wouldn't want to be riding with Bradford all the time. I'd hold him back. Like I totally get that, but it's so nice to be able to go out together once in a while and yeah,
Yeah.
ride like and share that interest. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I love it. I love riding in Wales. It was and the Stark. I don't know if you've ever ridden a Stark, but like
Mm-mm, not yet.
this is going to sound really girly, but that not having the noise of a bike is so less intimidating. I was like, it's just so
Really?
quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. That's why I want to get one. But I know full well, like Radford and I went to a motocross track and rode Starks.
Mhm.
This was back in the summer. And
Mhm.
he would flatten a battery on a Stark in like two motos. And where I would ride it all day. And he was like, yeah, you need to get one. And I was like, what? So you can get on it and absolutely flatten the battery on it. And then I have to wait for it to recharge all the time. Then you go do the same. But yeah, it's with my speed, it lasts forever, the battery. But with him, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it goes pretty fast.
It's very different levels. But again, this goes back to like your support of him. I love that. Like you want to do it with him, you like it, but you're still willing to admit that he needs to have that progression if he's going to keep
100%.
going.
Yeah.
And that's your support of him. That's what I'm saying. Like that's huge. There are people that I've met where guy or girl, it's like they want their person riding with them all the time and it's like okay, if you're at different levels when you start,
Yeah.
like you guys both need to progress and maybe one can catch the other up, but like you still have to I don't know. I just believe in progression. So I feel like everybody
Yeah.
should just be progressing and I wouldn't want to hold somebody back. Like me
Yeah. Yeah.
personally, I
Just got
don't
to be
want to feel like
realistic
that.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm with somebody and his goal is to go pro and like I'm going to be like, dude, go ride with whoever, you know, like do like you said, go ride with people who are better than you or all different levels,
That's the
whatever.
best way to progress at the end
Exactly.
of the day.
And like cool, we can ride together occasionally and that's awesome, but I don't know, like that's all a big if thing for me, but it's support. That's the biggest thing
Yeah.
is it's so much support, and that takes a lot of strength, um, from you because, you know, a lot of times when people think about a relationship, they think about someone who's gonna be there all the time, and
Yeah.
like you said, you guys have separate lives, so he seems to be gone a decent amount, like,
Yeah.
with
So
traveling for races and stuff.
we like live between, like, I live in a place called Milton Keynes and he lives in Devon and
Mhm.
it's like 4.5 hours. So my
Oh,
business is, I built a photography studio in Milton Keynes. My whole business runs out of here. So
yeah.
I have to be here for X amount of time. And
Mhm.
like, we knew that from the beginning. And yeah, he's here, there, and everywhere. Like he's away now, but I think I was speaking to someone the other day, like I think it makes your relationship so strong when you can spend time apart. It doesn't make your
Mhm.
relationship stagnant because like we both said, like imagine just doing a 9 to 5 and then coming home
Yeah.
at the end of the day and sitting on the sofa and watching Netflix. Like to me, I think that's terrifying. Like
Yeah.
it really is. Like routine
Mhm.
terrifies, well, both of us. And
Yeah.
it will never be for us. Like we won't ever do that. It will always be, we'll be here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, I mean, it's a test on your relationship, but it's just it's a positive in our eyes. Like we get to do what we need to do, and then we come back together, and it's yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's right now. Like I know he's got what, a couple of years maybe of riding, um,
Mhm.
and I want him to give it his best shot. Like who am I to hold somebody back of their dream? Like he's not doing it to
Mhm.
me, so I wouldn't do it to him. I wouldn't even dream
Yeah.
of it. Like we
Yeah.
doing normal coupley things just isn't for us. Like what did we do? We went to when we were in Poland, we did like we stayed a few extra days in Poland to go to this to like on the cities. And we were both
Uh-huh.
like walking around and we're like, this isn't for us. Like we city trips aren't for us. Like we'd much
Yeah.
rather be like going to the mountains, riding bikes, and
Yeah.
what we will do is he's got a camper van and we'll load our mountain bikes, dirt bikes, like snowboard stuff, and we'll just go to the mountains and pack Moose in. I've got to get his passport sorted. And yeah, we'll just go, and like that's us. Like it's
Yeah.
nothing's normal about our relationship, that's for sure.
It's the adventure life.
Oh, 100%. Like you never know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely like he's in up north now, but he was in Wales, but then he's back in Devon, and I'm back in Devon midweek, and it's yeah, it's here, there, and everywhere. We do live out of bags, like, and I have said that to him, it gets a bit frustrating. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest.
Yeah. I've been living out of my car for a year now, and, like, it's been kinda crazy because even when I have a place to stay, I'm always on the move, like, going to
Yeah, yeah,
races or going to different events and trying to go ride in different places, like, when I was in Maine, for example, I went to 4 different states to ride because I just wanted the experience of going to those different places and seeing
yeah,
what it's
yeah,
like in those places, and I'm very much the same way where I just like I mean, I have a bag packed at all times and it's just like the essentials are in there. It's my go bag. Like I'm
yeah,
ready. Like let's go have an adventure. Like but a lot of people think it's absolutely crazy. And like you
yeah,
were saying about sitting on the couch and watching Netflix, I did that with a friend in I think it was August or September. I sat down and I watched TV, and it was probably the first time in 6 months. And he
yeah,
was like, "What are we gonna watch?" And I was like, "I don't know. What do you wanna watch?" And he's like,
yeah,
"I don't know. I don't watch TV." And I was like, "Cool. So we found like an old movie that we both liked, and so we watched that. It wasn't even something new because like I'm not gonna get started on like a new show or
no,
something because I'm not gonna sit there and finish it. Like I can't
no,
sit still for that. Like maybe once in a while, but I would rather be like getting ready for a run the next day or a ride or,
yeah, for
and
sure.
just go. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe it would be different if I
Normal
had
is
somebody, but yeah.
but normal is boring. Like you kind of like have a level of normal, and like normal people's levels here, but we don't really have a normal, and it's like to feel like you're having fun and like really like pushing yourself a bit, we need to go that extra mile, don't we? Like it's
Yeah.
just the mentality that you have. Like for New Year's, a lot of people would have been waking up hungover on New
Yeah.
Year's Day, but Radford and I were hiking for 6 hours to like
Yep.
-18 at the top of this mountain. We were
My god.
so wet and cold, frozen. Like we were switching hand warmers, trying to keep our like between us, trying to keep warm. Our toes were falling off. We made it to the
Yeah.
top, FaceTime my parents, and they're like, "You're mad." But that's what we wanted to do. And yeah, we
Yeah.
got back, we got into the camper, we were frozen. And then he was riding for the next 3, 4 days solidly after that. And yeah, it's just how we function. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's so much fun. Like it's always like obviously like there's aspects to our jobs which yeah, it can get a little bit dull, but that lasts for like 6 seconds, and then we're back to planning the next fun thing, going somewhere.
So, have you guys talked about, like, any kind of vacation that you would wanna take together? Like
Yeah, so well, we're meant to be he turns 30, as much as
mhm.
he would hate me to say it, he turns 30 in March, at the end of March. So I'm gonna take him snowboarding. Like I'm literally dragging him away to go snowboarding just for a few days. Like,
Yeah,
so we're gonna go snowboarding. We're probably gonna drive the camper out. And but the other thing is, there's a race in South Africa at the end of the year.
uh-huh,
Um, and I think he wants to race that, and like friends have said you need to go on safari when you're out there, and you will understand like being a vet tech, like you've only ever seen like animals in a sorrowful
mhm,
state. Like I've worked
yeah,
with rescues in like Thailand and stuff with elephants, and I've always said like I want to see elephants doing their thing in the wild and happy
Yes.
animals. So safari's always been like the dream for me, and he's like, it's the race is called the Roof of Africa, so we're
Yes.
hopefully, yeah, so we're gonna go out there and at the end of the year go on safari, and yeah, oh, I can't wait, honestly, when I think about it. Like we
That's
get
so
to he gets to
awesome.
ride and I get to see lots of animals. I mean, it's a win-win, to be honest.
Yeah, I've always wanted to. So when I was young, I watched a lot of Animal Planet. So we're gonna go off on a tangent here. I watched a lot of Animal Planet, and there was a show. I don't even know what it was, but there was a zoo in Australia, and they would take in baby wombats, koalas, and Tasmanian devils. And I was like
Yeah.
5. So my whole thing was I was gonna move to Australia and live in this zoo, and I was just gonna take care of all of them because like I was
I
gonna
was gonna
just
be their mum and love them
I was
forever. Yeah.
yeah, and well the thing is they basically like because they're orphaned babies and then
Yeah,
they hand
yeah,
rear them, but then they end up releasing them back into the wild.
yeah.
And so I was like, that's what I'm gonna do because I don't know, I'm crazy. And my crazy thing was that like I was gonna end up like bonding with the Tasmanian devil and like it was gonna be the coolest thing because those are like the hardest things in the world to tame.
Well, yeah,
But
it's
that
in the
was like,
name, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. So I was like, Australia was like the first place I really wanted to go. And then I started watching a lot more like Discovery Channel and stuff and seeing safaris like that and just like, man, I want to go see like lions doing their thing and like
Yeah,
giraffes
it'd
and
be
stuff like
amazing.
that. Like, yeah, I just
Just
think it'd be absolutely incredible.
non-captive. It's like non-captive animals
Exactly.
is the dream for me to see.
Hmm.
Yeah, so safari it is, and I can't wait because it was
Yeah.
my birthday in December, and like we were talking about like what we'd do for our birthdays, and we're just like we'd just book the trip, like to go.
Yeah.
Like I'd much rather, like the world's too materialistic and I
Hmm.
can't stand expensive, extravagant gifts. Like I would much rather spend that money on an experience and make
Hmm.
memories because that's going to last longer. Like that you take that to the grave with
Exactly.
you, and yeah, the world needs more of that. It's about the experiences, not how much someone can spend on you and buy you a nice handbag. But yeah,
Yeah.
this it's not really our
Exactly.
scene when we're into bikes and stuff. But I mean, I wouldn't say no if he bought me a Stark. Like, yeah,
Hint, hint.
yeah, no, I'm getting my own Stark. But yes, it's Safari. Yeah, and obviously
It's a
I will
different
go.
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, I'll go to the rounds with him. So I'll see you in
Yeah.
Erzberg. Um,
Yeah.
and apparently it's so wild. I'm so excited for that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go to as many rounds. Like I would start traveling more for business this year, but as soon as yeah, I'm back, I'll be back supporting him and wherever I can. So
That would
yeah,
be really
hopefully I'll be at
cool.
most of the rounds.
That would be awesome. I'm so excited to see it. It's really cool to see like your perspective of things because it's like it's awesome to see the riders like POV footage from like, when they're racing and stuff, but you can't always get that until like a couple days later cuz I mean, obvious reasons.
Yeah, yeah,
Unless you have like a media person and all of that who can get it out like right away. Um
yeah,
but it's really cool to see like your stuff of him and like the stuff that you do while he's doing his thing. I was just like, it
yeah.
seemed like
Radford
Sea to
being Radford.
Sky. Yeah.
I
Sea to
post some
Sky was
things.
like cool to see like you show kind of behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, his dancing skills and that was such a if I was to put everything on, gosh, because everyone got really sick out there. Everyone got food
Yeah.
poisoning. It was dreadful. Like he was literally, I've got a film of him vomiting next to his bike on the line. It was like horrific
Mm,
on the final day. And yeah, like I think it's good to put up the real side. Um,
yeah.
Obviously, like with racing and stuff, there is a downside to it which people aren't going to post about, but there
Hmm.
very much is that. And yeah, it's just, yeah, we get through it together, and yeah, it is a team effort, but I can't take anything away from the talent that he has on a bike. Like, I'll be his support all he needs. But yeah, he's a talented guy. He's wild, but he's talented.
What would you say is like the biggest challenge that you guys have faced so far, like as a couple together?
I like, if I'm completely honest, like, it's not even it's when you've got like a bit of a following on social media, like, by all means, both of us don't have a huge following, but we've got a bit of a following. Like, there are people that are involved in like, feel they're involved in your relationship, and it yeah, like, it's hard with people meddling, and like that's been our biggest thing. Like, we've had
Mhm,
this it's a fantastic relationship, but there's like, when you're kind of in view of people feel like
mhm.
they can get involved in it, and yeah, it's not stopped us at all. We just get on with it. But yeah, it's I think that's been one of the hardest things of us getting together. Um but also, yeah, like, we spend time apart, but we're used to it already. Like, we've not even been together
Mhm.
that long, and yeah, we get on with it. Because we both
Yeah.
know that we're just like, we're both pending our dreams. So it's
Mhm.
like, we want the best for each other, and yeah, when we come together, it's amazing. So yeah, I mean,
I love that.
I like to be honest about things, and yeah, I think that's real life is, yeah, is yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a lot of hard things in racing in general. I haven't really raced a whole lot, but I could definitely see it being challenging from the people that I know who are kind of at a higher level. Um, it does go a lot easier when you have support. And I don't
Oh,
just
for
mean like a
sure.
factory ride. Heck yes, when you have a factory ride or
Yeah,
you know that kind of
yeah,
support, that is totally amazing. But having somebody who you know is waiting for you at the sidelines or you know is just a phone call away when you're done, somebody to check in with. I
yeah.
think
Like,
that's very motivating for a lot of people.
yeah, I think, like, when you like finish a race, and like, these guys are tough guys that are doing these, and women. I've seen women racing these hard enduros, like,
Mhm,
and but at the end of the day, these races are designed to break you. And like, there's been races where people that have set the races up have said they're designed so you don't finish. Like, it's
mhm.
mentally and physically draining, and
Yeah.
like, just having somebody there for you at the end. Like, I've competed, I've had times where competitions haven't gone to plan, and just having someone there supporting you is worth its weight in gold. And like, even just getting your stuff off you, like giving you some food, telling you it's going to be okay, like, because they are mentally gone at the end of these
Yeah.
races. And
Yeah.
when we're in Spain, Radford was literally vomiting into his helmet. Like, it was horrendous. And he rang one of the guys we were with and was like, I'm completely stuck. I can't get my bike out. I'm like being sick. And then he Radford, being Radford, had thrown himself in the lake when it was so cold. Um, so he was soaked through to the bone, borderline hypothermia, and then he had to sit and get drug tested at the end. So he was so dehydrated, um, and then he had to wee in a cup, and he couldn't wee, so he sat in the freezing cold for probably an hour. Just
Oh
he was
my
the
god.
look on his face when I went down to the drug testing thing. He was over it. Um, but then it's like, on to the next one. Like, that
Yeah.
they he always says, like, at the time it's the worst time of your life, but then you finish, it's like, okay, well, when am I going again? But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I mean, he loves it. Um, and yeah, I'll always be there to give him a cuddle at the end and tell him it's going to be okay if it's not gone so great.
He's an incredible dude. He's got a crazy mindset, and I
Yeah.
absolutely it's so funny because when we did our interview, um, we talked about listening to music while you ride, and That's been like the big takeaway for everybody. Everybody's like, well, Radford listens to music, so I'm gonna start listening to music. I'm like,
Oh,
I told you
yeah.
like a year ago that I listen to music, but it doesn't matter until Radford does it. But
He's like
now
on the
every
line
time,
dancing. Like I have a
yeah.
video of him starting at Turkey, and he's like, everyone else is like poised, and he's like that. I'm like, you're dancing on the line? Like,
I love it. I
what a
think it's really
character.
cool. Yes, I was just gonna say he's such a character, and it's super funny. He's a really inspiring guy, and it was actually talking to him about his thumb throttle that everybody knows him for
Oh
that
yeah.
made me realize that I don't I need to just get over myself essentially and finally lower my bike because he's like, who cares what anyone
Oh
else thinks? And I was like, no,
yeah.
that's
It works
totally
for
right.
you.
And if it's gonna work for me, it's gonna make me more comfortable and help me
Yeah.
improve, then why not do it? So he's a really I'm really glad that I ended up going and talking over to all of them when I saw them in Tennessee. I'm still pretty new at talking to people at events. Like I get so nervous, and not just
Oh
because of like status or anything. Like I get nervous talking to anybody, and like
well, it doesn't
um
show. Like you like you're great on the podcast.
yeah, it was because I have time to think. Like I'm a very quiet person normally. Like in real life, if you see me at an event, I'm probably smiling and I'm probably really quiet. And like unless somebody like engages with me or they start talking about something that I really feel that I can like get in the conversation, but I'm
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
with just like kind of watching in the background and just listening to people tell their stories. I love that aspect of it. Um but on here,
Oh,
it's like it's just the conversation, it's getting to know people, and it's finding inspiration from people. I think it's really cool, like I said, that you support him so much. And what I was gonna say earlier, I completely forgot and I switched topics, but I met him and he was just like so cool. He's such a fun personality. And then I met you online and I was just like instantly, I was like, these are like the same person. They're like the same, but not. And I was like, this
yeah.
is so fun. So like you and I connected and like right away it was so fun talking to you. And so I was like super excited. So
Oh,
it,
we get that a lot
it's
that people say I'm like, well, he always said to me, like, I'm him with tits. That's like his
yeah.
go-to saying, like, and it's like one of my best friends, she was like, how did you find him? He's just you. Like, and yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think he existed. Not saying I'm
Yeah.
unique, but I'm just quirky in my ways. And
Yeah.
yeah, he came along and it was just a real game changer for me. But yeah, I'm a lucky girl. We yeah, I really am lucky. Bless him. He keeps it interesting. I
Yeah.
sometimes like somebody said to me the other day when we are riding, um, they were like, "Do you have to deal with this all the time?" I was like, "Yeah." And my good friend was like, Beck, it's like you're constantly stuck in a Jackass movie. I was like, that's exactly it. Yeah. Like you couldn't explain it any better. Like
Yeah.
when he's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm like, okay. Like it's very like sometimes I have to like bring him back down to earth and be like, right, do you want to think about this before we do it? He's like, I'm gonna go do this. Off he goes. And then I just see him like riding into walls and yeah. And I'm like, you do you, hun. Like, yeah, he lives life in the fast lane and it's a great way. It's a great way to be.
Has there been any, like, true heart attack moments where you're like, "Oh, shit, like, I can't believe he's doing that?" Like,
I mean,
I guess
like,
maybe when he had the concussion, right?
yeah, like he came up to me like after he crashed, he was out riding, came up,
Mhm,
and he was like, Beck, I've hit my head. And I was like, "Oh, well, I can tell that." He sat down with Moose, and
mhm,
Moose is my Labrador. And Moose is very attentive to people when they're like unwell. And Moose was all
mhm,
over him. And he said, "Can I have painkillers?" So I gave him some. He forgot
mhm,
that I'd given him painkillers, and then he went up to his sister and then said, "Oh, have you got any painkillers?" So then he was
mhm.
overdosed on painkillers, which isn't ideal. Um,
Yeah.
and I said to him, like, because my injury from snowboarding that basically finished me was a head injury. I smashed my helmet into, like, I was hospitalized. It was, yeah, it was
Oh my
done.
god.
And I take head injuries very seriously. And like his family were like, oh, he's been like this before. It's okay. And I'm like, I don't think this is not okay. Like, I said to him, like, we're going to hospital. And he,
Yeah.
when they give in and say, yeah, okay, it's serious, because normally they're like, "No, I'm fine. I'll just ride it out. It's okay." And then yeah, I
Yeah.
took him 4 hours of vomiting. He collapsed in the waiting room. He was like shaking and trying to walk and then collapsed, and then he was taken into resus, and yeah, it really, when there's 5 people around your boyfriend like tending to him, it really
Yeah.
hits home. It hit home that it's serious. And yeah, like, I don't know if you probably saw the crash. It was on a reel on Instagram, sadly. I don't like
Yeah.
watching it. Um, and yeah, he hit his head in the right spot and it did him.
Mhm.
And yeah, like, there's not enough surrounding how important your head is. Like, you can break an arm, you can break a leg. Um,
Mhm.
like, I'm wired together, like, I've got all my collarbone all wired, like, all my collarbone falls out of place, but at the end of the day, it's all wired in, it's fine, I get on with life. But when you've hit your head so many times, like,
Yeah.
you can't just get on with life, and you need to take it
Mhm.
seriously. So we've actually got appointments lined up where he's going to get his brain checked and post concussion. So yeah, that wasn't
Yeah.
nice. I was in the hospital with him. Just yeah, I wouldn't have left his side. Like, it was horrible. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Ugh,
sad
yeah,
times. But
my mom actually works in neurosurgery. So
oh wow,
yeah, she's a nurse practitioner in neurosurgery. So I know a lot about like concussions and stuff like that. And I know how bad they can be and
yeah,
life altering at times.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they don't even have to be that bad to really change
yeah,
things. I have a friend who got a concussion at the beginning of last summer and it took her out of riding for what is it, 5, 6 months, something like
yeah,
that, because um it was just so bad. And I
yeah.
mean, thankfully she's recovered, but it took a long, long time. Um and she's actually started to talk about it, and she's going to be doing like a whole thing on it because like you said, there's not enough surrounding it, and
No,
especially in our sport, like we know that concussions happen, but we don't talk about it enough. And I think that people talking about it, not at like a neuroscience level necessarily,
yeah,
is really important. Making people realize how important it is to wear your helmet and to wear a good helmet, and
yeah.
why these regulations have come out. I think that's super, super important. And um, you only
Oh,
get one brain. Like
100%.
you said, you can
Yeah,
fix a bone, but you can't.
yeah,
Sometimes you can't fix your brain. And I
yeah.
mean,
And
we talk about dirt biking. It takes a little bit of crazy for all of us to get on a dirt bike,
there's
but
a
that's a
few
different
screws
kind of
loose. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, there comes a point where it's like, right, this is serious now. Like, and
Mhm.
like, I took that situation into my own hands and was like, we're going to hospital. I don't care. Like, I
Yeah,
don't care how many people say he's done it before. It's okay. It's like, no. Like, at the
yeah,
end of the day, like, I'm here to look after him and his interests at
yeah,
best heart, like, with me. Like, I have to do what's right for him. And yeah, it was horrible. I never want to see him like that again. But it's it happens, doesn't it? Like, it's inevitable that he's probably going to hit his head a few more times, but as long as we get him to the right place, um,
yeah,
yeah, he's got good helmets, which is, yeah, key. I'm always saying to him, like, his current helmet, he needs to get, um with all these new sponsors on. I'm like, right, well, is that helmet okay? Like, otherwise we're getting another one. Like, how many times has that
yeah,
been dropped? How many times you smashed it? It's like, it's
yep,
fine. So yeah, like, my
and
helmet,
I
when I
think
hit, my head was split. Like,
yeah,
I've seen a helmet split. Like, it's mad.
yeah,
Uh,
and I had a crash. Oh, it was, I think earlier. Yeah, it was like mid-year. I don't remember what it was at the time. But I had a pretty bad crash and I hit my head, but the helmet like cracked on the inside, but not the
Yeah.
outside. So like looking
Yeah.
at it from the outside, it looked fine, but on the inside it was cracked, and it was an older helmet. Um,
Yeah.
and I was looking into it, and you're supposed to replace them like every 6 to 8 months, especially if
Yeah.
you're falling. And as someone who
Yeah.
falls a lot, I was like, that's really
You just
expensive.
get bank
Like,
loans out.
yeah, I was like, "Good
Yeah.
lord, that's a lot," but when you look at the technology that's really going into these helmets these days, the MIPS technology and everything, those are
Yeah.
designed to only take, like, one major impact,
Yeah.
and everybody's definition of major is different. Obviously, what he went through, I think everybody would agree that was pretty major.
Yeah. It was
Um,
just so
but
fast. Like it was, yeah,
yeah.
good, a heavy hit, but quick. Um,
Mhm,
but yeah, it's you can't stress enough. Like when I got my road bike license, and when I did my like test for that, they show you
mhm,
helmets which have been in accidents and
mhm,
how they're screwed. Like they're completely busted
mhm.
up. And they're like, you need to get a
Yeah.
new helmet if you hit your head. That's what
Yep.
they're designed to be hit once and then no more.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it can get expensive, but at the end of the day, it can get obviously very expensive when your brain doesn't function correctly. Um,
Mhm. You don't
but
wanna
yeah,
compromise your safety at all with
no,
that. Like, it is of the utmost importance, and I just think that that needs to be stressed, so this is the perfect opportunity to
yeah,
stress that. Like, I know I took a fall recently, and I didn't hit my head, but I made sure that I inspected my helmet, like, really, really closely just to make sure. I was like, I don't think I hit my head, I'm pretty sure I didn't. My friend said she didn't think I did. So I was like, okay, but just I want to be on the safe side. And like I said,
yeah.
my mom's in neurosurgery. So everything to her is like, you fell, you have a subdural hematoma. And it's just like,
Oh
not
God.
quite, but I was like, I hit my
Wow.
elbow. It's fine. Um,
Yeah.
but it
Like it's mad head injuries
mhm,
because you're in it as such. It's the
mhm,
people around you which are, it sounds like a bit selfish, but the people around you are the ones suffering because
mhm,
like he didn't really know what was going on. Yeah, he was vomiting, but he was like really in and out when we were in hospital.
yeah,
But I'm the one that's sitting there watching him suffer. And
yeah,
like I would be the one there if he needed ongoing care, like which
yeah,
I would always do. But like they don't necessarily know how bad they are, but we're watching it all unfold.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so it's almost a selfish point of view, but it's like yeah, we I don't want to ever see him like that. Like
yeah,
it's grim, really is.
yeah, definitely. Well, on the complete opposite side of that, let's switch to happy things.
Yeah,
Um,
let's go to positive. But yeah,
what
you
would
have to be
be
real and yeah, touching on that's
oh,
good.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But what would be like your guys' goals or your goals for him and racing and all of that this year? Um, what is something that you guys have been talking about or working towards?
I mean, like with him, like my goal for him is literally just to have the best time and enjoy it. Like I always say, if you're not enjoying it, then let's stop. Like there's no
Yeah.
point. Like it got to that point in snowboarding with me where I was going to competitions and I was worrying more about what was going to happen if I was going to get injured, and it was just not worth it. So
Yeah.
the main goal for me is for him to enjoy every second. Well, until he's on the edge of a cliff in Romania, I don't think he'll be enjoying that so much again. But yeah, I just want to, I know it makes him happy. I just want to see him happy. And like he obviously, I can't remember where he finished, was it like 12th or something? Like he would be ecstatic if he could finish in the top 10. But again, like there's no pressure on that. He just, yeah, needs to go out, do his thing and finish the year healthy. That would be like my goal for him.
Mhm.
God knows what he would say. Um, Probably like backflipping the enduro bike off the edge of one of the cliffs and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's
and
but
go ahead.
oh go you go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, what are your goals for yourself in regards to like your riding or your support or anything like that?
I mean, like I would just like to get out and feel comfortable on a bike. Like I said about like riding bikes, riding the Stark, like I don't feel intimidated riding the Stark. So I think that will bring on my riding so much. Like
Yeah.
with me and my business and stuff, like I'm busy with that. So like I just getting bike time. I just need to get as much
Yeah.
bike time as possible. Um, and it'll be great. Like if I ride, because Radford lives on a farm in Devon, I could just go out on my start. No one would even know that I'm riding, and I could just go
Yeah.
practicing, um,
Yeah.
and just be in my own little world a bit. Um, but yeah, just bike time for me. That's like my goal. Like finding the time to get out there and pull myself away from work and
Hmm.
yeah, live a bit. It's yeah, it's, when you own your own business, it's kind of 24/7 working.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
but I do like to have fun as well, so yeah, and that's my goal. Like probably next year it would be cool to enter something. I did say this last
Yes.
year, but obviously, yeah, it's life's just hectic and busy, and like we're focusing on
Hmm.
Radford's riding, um like on the competition side of things. But yeah, imagine me on a start line with him. I don't think, could you imagine a couple on a start line? It'd be an absolute nightmare. I would never want to go off a start with him. Like he's loose as a goose. Like
I think we might have one or two steps before you're on the same start line as him.
absolutely, yeah. Let's not
But
run before I can walk. And oh
by
God, yeah.
the time you get to Romaniacs, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Why are you lining up with her?" I'd be like, "Well, give it a go." No,
Let's
I
give it a
can
go.
leave
I love that.
all the tricky stuff to him. I just wanna, yeah, go out, ride, have fun. Like I have a little bit more of a sensible head on me, than I did do a few years ago.
Yeah.
Where yeah, when you've got like, when you're adulting, it's a
Yeah.
trap being an adult. But yeah, I can leave all the crazy stuff to Radford, and I can just poot around on my bike. That would suit me down for ground. Just us riding together as well. Like that is,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's, I think just a few more hours on the bike, and I'll be with him a bit more, keeping up.
That's awesome.
And
I love that
never in a
though. But
million
like
years.
you have a background. I mean, you have road bike experience, you have mountain bike experience. So those things
Yeah.
all play into it. I think that's really cool. I love your drive. I love that you love
Ah,
to do all of these crazy things. It's so cool. I always wanted to learn how to snowboard when I was younger, but when I actually moved to a place that had snow, I ended up developing a cold allergy and I couldn't go outside without going into anaphylactic
what?
shock. So I kind of couldn't
What?
learn how to snowboard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely put a Debbie Downer on it. Wow.
yeah, yeah,
God,
it
I
was
didn't
not
know that was
fun.
even a thing.
Yeah, less than
I feel
1%
I've
of
got
the
that.
world gets it. So
Wow,
yeah, it was
that's mad.
it was a rough few years, but I've actually it's gone now. Um they don't know what causes it. Sometimes it stays
Wow.
forever and sometimes it just happens for a few years, and for me, thankfully, it was just a few years. So um
Wow.
but
So you can learn to
yeah,
snowboard now.
yeah. I could.
Honestly, it's the best sport. My best friend, she's just taking lessons. We have an indoor place here, and
Yeah.
I gave her a snowboard like 2 years ago in the hope that she would learn. And it's taken her 2 years. She's got on it, but she's a mountain biker and she's
Uh,
insane on a bike. Like she, how she rides, I always say she rides like a dude. Like she's just so fluid on the bike and just,
mhm.
yeah, she can whip, she can do everything. And she would always take me riding and be like, "Yeah, I think you can do that, Beck." And I'd be like, "Oh." So now the roles are reversed, and she's like, "You make
Yeah.
snowboarding look so easy." It's like, no, but it's years of like practice and just
Yeah.
board time. And yeah,
Yeah.
she's getting it, and it's just yeah, I love it, love it. More people that can snowboard, the better. And Radford, I think, is getting a bit worried. He's like, "You're just so much better than me." It's like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, of
Yeah.
course I'm going to be like, it was my thing for so many years, and
Yeah.
so I can't wait to get him out on the mountain and go faster than him for once. It'll be my only
I
shot at like being quicker at him than something. It'll drive him mad.
I really need to see footage from that. I need
Oh,
to
you're
see
gonna
you
see
just
all of
like
it.
flying past him.
Doc, it's we've got matching outfits as well. So yeah, my there's a company called Oosk, and they for the last 3 seasons they've just given me sets of clothing. And this year
Yeah.
they said like, what would you like? And they said, oh, if
Uh-huh.
Radford would like stuff as well. So Radford picked out the outfits, and they are like retro all in one outfit. So yeah,
Sounds
we're
right.
gonna stand out on the slope.
Well, that's good. At
Bless
least you
him.
guys won't get lost.
Oh
But
no, no, we stick out like sore thumbs. But
you'll
yeah,
find each other.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. Like I said, we need to find time to do like my sport as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's such an important thing to me.
Yeah.
We do the thing that I did for so many years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the bikes will come at the same time though. He'll ride somewhere when we're out there, I'm sure.
Of course. I mean, when you're a bike obsessed, like you have to, like, but it's
Yeah.
like I said, it goes back to it's really awesome how supportive you are of that. Like you already know, so like you're like, all right, it's just gonna be a thing, but we're also doing this. So
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, like
I think
it,
that's awesome.
it's hard with like the super enduro rounds and then the hard enduro. It's like all year. So
Yeah,
it's hard to find like a weekend that's free within the winter season.
yeah,
Um so yeah, we're gonna get some board time in at some point. But yeah,
that's really
I
cool.
can't wait.
I love
Yeah.
it. So then I have one more big question for you. So we always talk about fitness and nutrition,
Yeah.
and kind of how that goes hand in hand. You guys don't have as much time together, but is that something
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
important for you guys when you are
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, I mean, when before I met him, he ate out
Mm.
all the time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like out in restaurants and cafes.
Yeah.
And when I first got with him, I was like, the cost of that is mad. So
Yeah.
I was like, I made him healthy meals, and yeah, he never felt so good. Like he admits, like he was getting up, training in the morning. He had the energy to train because he had healthy meals on board. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a nutrition is such a key thing, especially for these guys riding like all throughout the day in these hard enduro races. Like you
Mhm.
can't just expect to turn up to the race and be fit and healthy. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, he hits the supplements hard, bless him, in the morning. His routine is literally the same with what he has.
Mhm.
But yeah, we eat healthy. Like I cook home cooked meals rather than we go out every now and again, but I'd much rather cook us some meals. And yeah, he actually like people made jokes about him because I literally had him lunch boxes made up of like healthy meals. I just couldn't bear to
That's
have him
so
like
cute.
eating. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he needed it. Is he needed some
Yeah.
direction. So now he's got all his Tupperware. So yeah, he's back on the healthy train. So
Good.
because over like well, there wasn't even much of an off season, but in the off season it was like eating out, pudding, starters, everything. Um, but now we're back to it. We're back to the grind. And yeah, when I'm there, we go to the gym in the morning. He's mental. He goes in a cold pond every morning.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
probably see it on Instagram.
Well, he
He,
talked about it on the podcast. He talked
yeah.
about how he does it, and because we were talking about mindset and like discipline and stuff. And so I'm actually staying at my dad's right now, and we have a pool. And
Oh,
there's been a
nice.
couple mornings where I'm like, no,
Oh, dim.
I'll just go sit. I just go sit outside and like a t-shirt, and that's cold enough for me.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
like, I can't imagine jumping in the pool and like making
No,
myself sit there. I probably should, but
you have to
I
go
haven't
in
gotten there.
fast. Like, don't dip a toe and then go. You have to go. Like, I went in with him. I don't know how many mornings I've done it. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've done it. But I literally was like paddling in. He came smack bang. And like, because it's in a pond, it's like
Yeah.
algae all in. And I was covered in green algae, just stood there like at like 7 o'clock in the morning, just like, what is life? Um, but yeah, he loves it. It really helps his head. Like I said, we're both super undiagnosed ADHD, and like
Mhm.
he really finds that works for his brain. I, on the other hand, would much rather have a hot shower. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm with you
just
on the hot
gross.
shower.
Although
Yeah.
I do have an ice bath, but the pond just doesn't do it for me, and my ice bath needs filling up. So yeah.
I think he's just a little more wild, so that's
Oh
why the pond works for him.
oh yeah. He's a proper farm boy. Like in Devon, he grew up on a farm, and like
Yeah.
everything is like, yeah, just a bit different. It's pretty mad.
Well, I love it. I think this was really cool. Again, I appreciate you coming out and doing this. This was a really cool, unique insight, and it's something that I'm hoping a lot of people really resonate with, just the support side of things.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it's totally different.
yeah, like I putting it into like a nutshell, like the guys need the support, but like it's like I go back to like the too much support, that there is that side of it, I think. Like I can read Radford pretty well, and it's I know when to
Mhm.
take a step back and like when he needs me there. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, like there's no shame in needing somebody there, but at the end of the day, like you can be too involved. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's where the like our having our own things going on is so key. Um,
Yeah.
and then I can be there for him to give him a cuddle when he needs it at the end. Like he's such a softie, really. He'll hate me for saying that. But he's you probably you might have grasped that from him, but he's such a softie, like big heart, just a big gummy bear,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. No,
So yeah,
he seemed very nice when we met, and like he's just like I said, he's just such a character, and like so personable. And I think that's what it
yeah.
was, is because they had been sitting up there. There's like a whole snow cone incident. I had never had one before. It was really hot. I really wanted one. And they had all been sitting there, and I was trying to wait for them to like leave, and they were just standing there talking to the snow cone guy. And I was like, okay, they've got their snow cone, so I'm just gonna like barge into the middle of this because I want my freaking snow cone. but then I got there and there was all these options for like flavors. I don't know. I was like, what's the best one, you guys? And then we all just started talking and they all gave their input. It
Ah,
was really funny. So like what a weird way to meet people, but I was like, I just wanted a snow cone. I was hot.
it's
but
so funny you
they
say snow cone. Is that, do you mean an ice cream? Like a like with a like wafer thing?
It
And
no, it was like ice. It's ice,
oh,
like
I've never
chopped up
known that.
ice with flavor on it. Yeah.
Ah, I've never known that. I thought you literally meant like a. Do you have ice cream vans in the
Yeah.
US? Okay,
Mhm.
I didn't know if you did. That's what I thought you meant by snow cones. I was like, oh, she must
Oh,
mean
no,
ice
no, no.
cream.
No, it literally so it looks I think they call it that because it looks like you just took like a little like it's like a paper cone and they just scoop the ice
Ah,
up and then they put flavor on it.
oh
So
wow, I've
it's
never
like
heard of it.
pure sugar, but
Oh wow,
but it's
sounds like my
cold.
cup of tea.
So
Yeah,
when it's hot
weird.
outside, it's like great. It's a nice little treat. And that was like the last day. So I had been resisting and I was like focused and like cuz I was working at TKO. And so I was like, okay, everything's done. All the crazy stuff is done. I was like, I'm just finally going to go get it. And then yeah, I was just but like I said, he was really nice. The Brightmores were super nice. They were just all so just welcoming and then
Yeah.
talking to me. They talked to me about my bike and they were giving me advice on it. And I was just like,
Ah,
I can't believe this life right now. Like, this is crazy. But
ah,
just so nice and not like I don't know, sometimes it's intimidating meeting people like
yeah,
from
for
other
sure.
countries. Like it's sometimes, people get that like, oh, Americans are so stupid. And like I totally get it, but it's just like it was just
Yeah,
fun to
but
connect with people and like learn little differences. And so it's been really cool to start talking to more people from different countries and seeing different things like how you guys call the front of your car the bonnet, and I never knew that.
what do you call it?
The hood. It's the hood of our car. So or
Oh,
like
we have
the
so many which are like so different.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of funny sometimes like talking to people. Now I talk to people from all over the world and like I my friends in Australia do the same thing and I'm like, "What did you just say?" Like I have to like decode what you're saying even though it's English.
Like another language.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Wow.
super funny.
Like you
But
have
I
to
mean,
translate in your head.
yeah, there's even in America, like, you have, like, different words for different things sometimes,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
just like, people call like, if you're out in public and there's a thing that you can get water from, what would you call that? Like, it's, like, on the
A
wall or whatever.
water fountain.
The water fountain is what I would call it, but in certain parts of the United States, they call it a bubbler. And
I've
so
never heard that. Never heard
yeah,
that
it's
one.
ridiculous. So, it's weird little nuances, but I always find it fun because it's just, like, trying to decode everything, so
Yeah. Like, what are you saying? What do you mean?
it's I find it charming.
Yeah, you'll start saying like British words soon.
Oh, I've
Like,
already kind of started doing that, yeah.
well, if we're gonna,
Did
well, I really hope we see you at Erzberg. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
I,
As of right now, I don't see anything keeping me from it, but life happens,
yeah,
so you
yeah,
never know. But yeah,
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
super stoked. It'll be so cool to hang out.
Yeah, apparently it's wild as well, so prepare
Yeah,
yourself. Like
my
Radford
friend
explained it
went
the other day. Oh,
uh-huh.
he said for him to say it's getting too much, it's too much. Like he said, like the
Yeah.
parties and like,
Mhm.
yeah, for him to say
Yeah.
that, wow, it must get out of hand.
Yeah, there's some crazy videos out there, but my friend went a couple years ago and she said it's just electric. She's like, if you never do any other rounds in the world, she's like, go to Erzberg because that's like as a spectator, the environment is just amazing. Um, it's probably not the most spectator friendly in regards to like getting around to the
Yeah,
areas,
yeah.
but in regards to like the fun and everything around it. I'm not a partier, so like I don't drink, but I can appreciate the fun and like I
Yeah.
enjoy people watching, so it'll be a really interesting
You
time.
watching other people get absolutely wasted and falling over.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great people watching.
exactly.
Oh yeah, it'd be so good. We'll definitely see you there. We're gonna take the
Yeah,
camper over. So yeah,
that would be
exciting.
great. Well, in this last like minute or so, do you have anybody that you want to thank or shout outs or anything like that?
I mean, I don't really, yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know if you can put that bit in there. Like
Yeah.
literally, I don't know who I would say.
All right, that's fine. I just always like to give everybody the opportunity if they want to. Some people have been like, "Hi, mom," like.
I mean, if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be like who I am. So my my parents always supported whatever I did in sport. Like well, when I was like super young, they came with me, like snowboarding
Yeah,
around the world. And then when I was old enough to travel on my own, um, they just let me go. They let me do what I
yeah,
wanted to do. Like it wasn't like I was an unruly child. It was like they let me pursue a passion and a dream of becoming a professional snowboarder. Like
yeah,
they, yeah, allowed that. And like I took time out of school. I got my grades, but I took time out and they were so cool with it. But yeah, I come from a really competitive family and it's like when you start a sport, like you need to be the best at it. Like that's the kind of
yeah.
mentality. We don't stop. It's a long running joke that I've done every sport under the sun. Um, but yeah, like my passion was snowboarding, and they helped me pursue that dream. So yeah, they're my like yeah, as well as Radford, my biggest fans. I like to tell him he's my biggest fan, as well as
Oh, I
Moose.
love that.
Moose is a big fan of mine.
Unless
But
you're not
now,
feeding him, like when you
like
don't share treats.
the looks that I get, like when I left Radford's the other day, Radford was still at home and I was walking up the path and Moose just stopped. And I was like, come on. And he looked at me like, I ain't going with you. I'm staying with dad. Like I literally hear Radford talking to Moose and being like, Daddy. He says that he's his dad to Moose. And I'm like, You're good egg. You're staying if you're literally saying to Moose that you're his daddy. He'll hate
Oh,
me
that's
saying
so
that,
cute.
but yeah.
I think that's adorable. When I had when I first met my ex-husband, he was nice. And I had a dog at the time, and she had been mine for almost a year at that point, and it was the same thing. Like when he first met her, he was just like all enthralled with her and everything. And as we started like dating longer, he was just like, I'm your dad and blah blah blah. And I was like, that's really cute. I think that that's
Yeah.
absolutely adorable. And usually
Oh,
it shows that
100%.
it's a good person. So
Yeah.
usually.
Like, yeah, they say that if you can treat an animal right, you can treat a human right. And I totally believe
Yeah.
that. And obviously that you would have seen that in working as a vet tech as well. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I Moose is my everything. And it was you take him on, basically. He's my child.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, they're both of them together, they're a right pair though. It's like they gang up. It's just yeah. Yeah,
They play off of each other's
they
energy.
adore each other. Yeah, exactly. They're both like I don't know if you've seen Moose on my Instagram,
Mhm.
but like he zoomies, like he's definitely undiagnosed ADHD as well. Like it's like it's catching. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was how I found you. I think that if I remember correctly, Radford had posted a video of Moose and tagged you in it. And I was
Uh,
like, "Oh, okay." And so I clicked onto it and I was like, "Oh my god," cuz I love dogs. So you're going to
Moose
win
is
me
making
over if you got a dog.
connections.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
he's like famous as well on Instagram. He's got like over
Yeah,
10,000 followers.
that's
Yeah,
insane.
he's got some interesting videos, bless him.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see more of Moose. I hope I get to meet him.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm super stoked to
I
meet you
don't know.
in person.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if he'll survive Erzberg. I think we'll probably give him a break on that one.
Yeah,
Um,
there's like
but
fireworks and stuff a lot of times, so I probably
yeah,
wouldn't take him to that. But my hope, so throwing this out into the universe now, my hope is that I can take some extra time and kind of travel the area before actually getting to Erzberg.
nice.
Because if I'm gonna spend
Yeah,
the time
yeah.
and I'm gonna go overseas, like might as well hit a couple places while I'm there. So
100%, yeah.
that's the
And
plan
would that be the
currently.
first time that you're out of the US?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
me spreading my
You're going
wings.
all out for your first time
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Well,
It's gonna be wild.
I almost went really all out. So I was just looking for a job these last couple months and one popped up in I think it was Norway or
Oh
yeah,
wow.
I'm pretty sure it was Norway. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, but I don't have my international certification and it takes like 6 months to get and they need someone like now. So
Is
but
that to
I
be a vet
definitely
tech?
thought about it. No, lab tech. So now I do like
Oh,
human histology. So
oh wow.
but
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I was very tempted and I literally told my mom I was like what's stopping me from going at this point like other than finances, but they were offering a relocation package. So I was like this is just getting better and better. I was
Yeah.
like and
And
she was
like,
like
isn't
freaking out.
I think like I can't remember where Norway ranks, but it's up there with like quality of life. It's meant
Yeah,
to be amazing.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be really, really great. So and I was like, it would be really cold.
Yeah,
But
that is the thing.
it would be a really cool place to base out of and travel from and totally different and not something I ever thought that I would do. But then all of a sudden I was like, yeah, I might do this. And then then
That'd be
this job
cool.
here came up and I was just like, okay, well, this one might be a little bit more feasible for now at
Yeah.
least, but um now the
Wow.
plan is to just keep traveling and I haven't found home yet. Like this isn't like I'm from here originally, but it doesn't ever feel like home. And so
Yeah.
throughout all my travels, that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to find home. And the
Yeah.
hard part is that for me, home is experiences, like you said,
Yeah.
and home is people. So I
Exactly that.
have,
I was gonna say that it's a person for me. So it's like wherever that
yeah,
person is, like that's home for me.
exactly. So I can be happy in a lot of different places because I have my people all over the place. Like I have family or
Yeah.
friends that are family, and I really think that I could be happy anywhere. But
Yeah.
I haven't found the whole package yet. So that's what all
I
this travel
that's
is
it,
gonna
like
help me
I'm
find.
I'm a firm believer in like what's meant for you will find you.
Mhm.
And like you're a free spirit. Like your person will
Yeah.
find you. Like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
given, but you just got to give it time. Like I said with me, like it was single for 4 years and then suddenly he came along and I didn't ever, it
Yeah.
was when I was least expecting. Everyone says that, don't they? It's when you're least expecting it. And I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And then there he was.
Yeah. The last guy that I talked to was kind of the same thing. I went to a dirt bike event and like I was dirt biking all day. Did not expect to, try and like flirt with anybody or anything like that. And then by the end of the day, like, I'm talking to this person and I was like, what is
Oh,
happening right now? Um, but like I don't know. I'm not like in a rush to find anybody or anything
no,
like
like you don't
that.
need to be.
No, I've got like I said, I'm in my selfish time. Like I'm focusing on me, my racing goals, my traveling
Yeah,
goals. If it works out with somebody, great, but I'm not pushing for it. And
no, for sure.
as of right now, the love of my life is my bike.
Like,
He
yeah.
is he's the only he in my life, and I'm gonna spend all my time with him if I can. And
Ah.
that's my his name is Happy. So, and I call him that because every time I'm on him, I'm just ridiculously happy. So, that's it's the love of my life. But yeah, one day
Wow.
maybe, we'll see.
Yeah,
But
you're gonna find
until
your person.
then, yeah, maybe. But until then, it'll be I just think it's so cool to find people who support their significant other, because for you guys it's both directions. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just think it's the coolest. I've watched you guys, and I was just so awesome to
I always
see
think
that. And it's
like if I should put more on social media, but I think people would be so shocked at what we get up to when, yeah, things get wild and out of hand. But I think maybe I should just go all out and just put it out there.
I mean, do what you're
Life of Beck
comfortable
and
with,
Radford.
but
Yeah,
yeah, I think that seeing those things though is important for a lot of couples who are getting into it at a competitive level, There's one thing if you're doing it just for fun, but when you're starting to do it at a competitive level, having a glimpse into what that life can be like from
yeah,
both sides, I think is really important to know what you're kind of getting yourself into, or how things can be. Like you said, some people lose themselves in that relationship and they kind of lose their identity. And
yeah,
that's easy to do when you're somebody who gives. Um, so I think seeing a different side of that you can be supportive and
yeah,
still maintain and be your own person.
exactly.
So,
That's the key to it all. You have to keep
mhm,
your identity. You don't just
yeah.
merge into one person.
Yeah. One big blob.
Yeah,
Awesome.
amazing.
Well, thank
Well,
you again
thank you for
so
your time.
much. Thank you. I appreciate it so much, and we will see you at Erzberg.
Yeah, can't wait. It's gonna get wild.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.